Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I'd like to thank the honourable member for this question. Sir, just by way of background, before I give the details as to how much money has been disbursed through this particular, what we call the COVID-19 Recovery Credit Guarantee Scheme, the $200 million was essentially allocated for businesses, micro, small, medium and large businesses to access this funding to help them meet their day-to-day cash flow needs, including, for example, payment of wages, salaries, rental costs, utility costs, purchasing stock and other working capital expenses. So as announced in the budget last year, these funds, the $200 million, is in fact made available through the Reserve Bank of Fiji at a very low interest rate of 0.25% to the financial institutions, who then on-lend these funds to eligible businesses where they need to meet the criteria of the financial institutions at no more than 3.99%. That's the maximum rate they can charge. Government also, Mr. Speaker, said negotiated with the financial institutions that are going to lend that there won't be any principal payments for the first 2 years, on the basis that government would pay the interest rate for these companies or these businesses on their behalf for the first 2 years. So there's been a budgetary allocation made to that effect, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, essentially, so therefore these businesses, for the first 2 years, they get access to the loan, but they don't have to make any repayments. Given the COVID-19 situation, that period is essential for them to actually get back on their feet, because we don't want these businesses to close down. Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, the criteria is that we also then, to ensure that the financial institutions will lend to these businesses, we said that 90% of the loans to micro businesses with turnover less than $50,000, government will guarantee. 85% for small businesses with a turnover of $50,000 to $300,000. 60% for medium-sized businesses with turnover of $300,000 to $1.25 million, and 75% for large businesses with turnover of above $1.25 million. So the amounts that one can actually get by way of a loan for micro enterprises, maximum they can get is $10,000. Small, they can get $20,000. Medium is $50,000, and large businesses $100,000. In the budget, Mr. Speaker, so the honourable members will also see that we've actually set aside $5 million in terms of managing the loan guarantees. Obviously, there won't be a call on those guarantees because nobody has to make a repayment in the first 2 years. Mr. Speaker, sir, by way of an update, the Reserve Bank of Fiji has already received and approved 5,244 loan applications with a total value of $106.9 million. In addition to this, Mr. Speaker, sir, the financial institutions are currently processing another 64 applications with a total value of around $3.4 million. To date, Mr. Speaker, sir, government has paid total interest costs of around $1.3 million on the $107 million already disbursed, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, in terms of the applications disbursed for micro enterprises, there are 2,509 applications. Small businesses, 1,648. Medium, 652. And large, 435 businesses have received funding from that, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, in terms of the value of the loans disbursed, around 17% of the total loan value is for micro businesses, 21% for small businesses, 26% for medium-sized businesses, and 36% for large businesses. I hope, Mr. Speaker, sir, that gives an update. Could, of course, give further clarification should they require any. Thank you, sir.
I thank the Acting Prime Minister.